I'm going to talk about diversity and inclusion in AI. I would like to use this time to bring your attention to why we need to talk about diversity and inclusion in AI systems. We should notice that when we're talking about diversity and inclusion in AI, we're not talking about a concept. We are talking about the crisis, a diversity crisis in the AI sector across both gender and race. I'm in AI for about 7 years in Sweden, the country which has the best situation in gender equality. But still, we see that tech companies in Sweden have an unsteady interest in the issues of gender equality and diversity. And based on the latest research in 2020, in nearly half of the Swedish tech companies, women and non-white employees are experiencing being excluded based on their ethnicity, gender, or cultural identity background. In the global context, the statistics about the leading companies in IT show that engineering teams and tech companies are almost white and male dominated. Based on the latest research in 2018, only 18% of authors at leading AI conferences are women, and more than 80% of AI professors are men. Women comprise only 15% of AI research staff at Facebook and 10% at Google. And it is noteworthy that there is no public data on transgendered workers or other gender minorities. When it comes to race, the picture is even worse. For example, only 2.5% of Google's workforce is Black, while Facebook and Microsoft are each at 4%. So as we see, there is a diversity disaster in AI. Fewer women and people of color are currently engaged in creation of artificial intelligence and other innovative technologies, development of data sets when it comes to the decision on what data is relevant, what data should be included or excluded in these systems. Therefore, as we see, the AI output and products reflect and perpetuate human biases, inequalities, and all the stereotypes of their creators. Today in AI systems, not only there is a gender imbalance, but also these systems are gendered. Almost all AI virtual assistants are given female names and voices and express a personality that is engineered to be uniformly subservient. Although many leading digital assistants like Microsoft Cortana and Google Assistants are less than 6 years old, they now rank among the most recognized women globally. It is important to talk about how AI has been implemented in these virtual assistants since they are widely used globally and they are increasingly playing roles in political, legal decision, healthcare, and devices we use in our everyday life. Also, they encompasses a wide range of internet-connected technologies that support users in various ways. As Sonia Gulser-Korat, the former director of gender equality at UNESCO, put it, these obedient machines that pretend to be women are entering our homes, cars, and offices, and their hardwired subservience influences how people speak to female voices and models how women respond to requests and express themselves. To change this, we need to pay much closer attention to how, when, and whether AI technologies are gendered, and crucially, who is gendering them. So we see how much our life is integrated and being inflicted by, infected by AI technologies. As Professor Cockburn emphasized, we should notice that technology is not simply an artifact, it is something that people engage with. Part of what makes people, men and women, is their relationship to technology. So when we are engineering the product with AI technology, we are actually engineering people's minds. We are shaping the new generation thinking model. So the relation of technology and gender itself makes diversity more important to be at the core of discussion. And we shouldn't forget that when we talk about gender diversity, we're not talking about women and men. It's all about the power relationships that led the industry to face this crisis. What all this data demonstrates is a persistent structural gender gap. The diversity of views among innovators is vital to ensuring the economic opportunities created by AI do not increase existing inequalities and that new AI system serve the needs of society at large. This was actually my talk, and I wanted to make sure that why all of us are in the common page, why we need to bring the diversity and inclusion when we are talking about AI and why it is so important. Now I'm free to hear your questions or your feedback.